If you want to make money blogging, you need to think of your blog as a business, which also means running your blog as a business behind the scenes and creating an infrastructure that allows you to grow and scale efficiently without being tied to your laptop 24/7. In short, you need to shift from thinking like a creator to a CEO, which is exactly what today's guest, content strategist and founder of travelcontentwriting.com, Laura Haley, is here to help with. Laura has worked on the back end of huge creators with over 1 million followers, helping them to build systems and grow their businesses while they're offline. In this episode, she'll share common time-wasting tasks, tips for auditing and organizing your workflow, how to grow an email list in a way that builds your business, why a CRM is important and how to set one up, and more. Now, we'll be covering a lot, so if you just want to relax without having to take notes, I've got you. I've created a free Systemize Your Travel Blog cheat sheet based on Laura's tips. You can grab it inside of my free Travel Blogger resource library, which is linked in the video description or via the QR code on your screen. It includes 75 plus checklists, tutorials, and templates, all meant to help you grow your traffic, email list, and income. Feel free to even pause this video to go grab those resources. You back? Then let's dive in. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for taking the time to share your tips. To start, can you just share more about yourself, your business, and how you became a travel content strategist?
Yes, thank you for having me, Jessie. It's so fun to be here and talk about these things. I am the girl on the other side of travel influencer marketing, and it kind of happened by accident. I signed up to receive an influencer's newsletter, someone who is very well traveled, and I was like, yeah, I want the stories. Tell me, what the heck? How did you do this? It came into my inbox, and it was one single paragraph in Times New Roman font with no photos or anything. And I'm like, you've been all over the world. I know you have a photo to share with me. And so I crafted an email back, and I was like, I know you take pride in your work. You're always working to improve whatever. Can I write your newsletters for you? And she responded and was like, yeah. And I've been working with her to this day ever since, which is crazy. And so I realized, okay, well, if one creator needs this support, there has to be more. And that's just kind of how it started. Got my wheels turning of like, okay, I already knew how to write. I was taught that. And so how can I do this in a space that I was excited about? And it kind of just happened by me sending the email. And so now I'm a big believer in just asking. Just ask for what you want. A lot of the times people say yes. It's kind of like a little superpower we all forget we have.
I'd love to start with the basics of this kind of creator to CEO strategy. Can you share more about what it means to go from thinking like a creator to thinking like a CEO, and what the first step with this process would be?
Yes. Okay. So I actually have 5 first steps that I will very briefly share with you. But really, when you're a creator, you are the business. That like you are kind of selling yourself, your soul, if you want. If you stop, everything stops. But business owners and CEOs, they are running a business, and so they are using content as one tool to run their business. It's not the whole thing; it's just one part of it. So the first shift I want people to understand is the content shift itself, from being a creator to being a business owner who uses content. I need you to reuse your top performing pieces. And I'm going to put top performing in air quotes for our listeners, because top performing is relevant to your own goals for social media. What might be top performing is for me is not the same for Jessie. And so I want the creator shifting from being a creator to a business owner to reuse what's working, because right now content creation is not your most important thing. Sorry, I know it's like your favorite thing potentially, but it's not the most important thing anymore. The second is revenue. We need to know your numbers. We need to know, what are you bringing in? What is going out? Are there any low lift revenue streams you could add? Are there things that are really dragging down your time that aren't making you a lot of money? And the third is time, but not just understanding where your time is going, but also where your joy is going with it. I want creators to start tracking the tasks they're doing on a daily or weekly basis to understand if these are things that really they need to be doing. Is it really in their zone of genius? Can somebody else do it with instructions? Does it even bring you joy? There's things that will bring you joy that you don't need to be doing, but you should probably keep doing them. That's okay. Okay, so the fourth is systems, and this is the boring part. It is super boring, but boring builds businesses. And it's similar to doing shifting the time audit. I want creators to take note of what they're doing and write down the steps they're taking to complete those tasks. There's amazing tools now out there that like can be a Chrome extension to watch while you work and make a standard operating procedure for you. But I just want you to understand what can be outsourced. And the final one is identity. To be a business owner, you have to choose to run your business as a business. When you work for yourself, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I have to write that blog. I could write it tomorrow. Well, I know everyone listening is probably a really great employee, or at least they were at one time. And so now you are an employee in your business. And so if your old boss said you have to get something done on Thursday, you would get it done. And so the same applies here. So it is a really hard mindset shift because things can be flexible. That's the hardest part, having that discipline. And that mindset shift doesn't happen overnight, nor I would say probably in like the first 2 years of running a business. It takes a long time to realize like, okay, we have to really be serious about this. This can't just be super fly by the seat of our pants, but it can be fun and disciplined at the same time. And that's why I encourage you to audit what you're doing, when you're doing it, and if it's bringing you any joy. So long-winded answer. Those are the 5 places I would start.
You bring up so many good points. I couldn't agree more with all of those. I especially love that you brought up the content part of things, because I think a big mistake that a lot of creators make is starting creating, and then 6 months in, they're like, I'm not making any money, but they didn't think of that revenue piece of things, which is so essential if you want to turn this into a business. Now, you mentioned backends, and I know you see the back end of many big creator businesses. What is the most common task that travel creators waste hours each week on, and that also adds zero value to their bottom line?
I love this question because I can't pinpoint like, oh my gosh, every single creator is doing this one thing poorly or wrong. But it's all of the tasks that eat up their time that they don't need to be doing. It's the pitching, it's the follow-up emails, it's the repurposing their content, it's the out of their zone of genius stuff that you can do and have done until this point, but you don't need to do it anymore. And it's when they step out of that zone of genius and into the sort of intern work in their business, that's where their time gets the most sucked and they lose the most amount of money. So it is so helpful to figure out, where is my time and my joy going? Anyone can write your next Instagram caption. Okay, they can. And it's kind of like you kind of got to let it go a little bit, because your zone of genius might be actually researching the destination you want to share about, or pitching the whatever thing that's going to get you closer to your goal. It's not all these tiny menial things that honestly you could spend 40 hours a week doing all of the tiny tasks that are not going to make you any money. You just have to realize what you're doing. I think that's the biggest hole, is like the creators I see, they don't realize so much where their time is going.
And this segues perfectly to the next question I wanted to ask. Creators have these 101 different tasks and projects to get done, which often leads to overwhelm. So how can people listening start prioritizing and organizing their blogger to-do lists?
Okay, first I'm going to recommend you listen or read the book Essentialism. It's one of my favorite books. I read it every year, and it is about the disciplined pursuit of doing less but better. And I was just having this conversation last night with someone in my own community, and she came to a Q&A session, and she was like, I have a million things to do. I don't know how to do them. I feel like I'm going crazy. And I was like, well, right now, I know that your goal is to increase your UGC paid gigs that you're doing. So tasks related towards that goal need to be your priority. And I know you're working on like a new Instagram series, I was telling her, but I'm like, the earth isn't going to cave in if your Instagram series can't go out on Friday when you said it was going to. It's okay. But I want you to do the tasks that are generating your revenue first. And that's where you have to get crystal clear on what you want your goals to be, and then be disciplined in doing all of the tasks that only relate to those goals or getting you a little bit closer. Like, let's say someone has a goal of, in the entire year, let's say I wanted to make $10,000 from my blog, from like ads, whatever. Okay, amazing. Some people might do that quickly. It doesn't matter. What can you do in a quarter to get there? What can you do in a month? What can you do in a week? Is there some tiny task you could add to your daily plate to get you a little bit closer to that task. It's all about like avoiding shiny object syndrome, which is really, really, really hard. And there was this woman, I can't remember her name, which stinks, but she used this analogy of a parking lot. It's like, okay, we get all these fun, creative ideas because we're creative people. We get all these ideas all the time. Put those ideas in the parking lot and let them sit there. They're not going away. They're just parked, and work on committing to the bit. Okay, you've committed to making $10,000 in your blog this year. Do the things you're going to say you're going to do to hit it. And like we said before, content now is not the most important thing. What is the most important thing is the tasks that are generating revenue. For more practical advice, besides this like, oh, just like think about it differently, whatever, I would recognize when you do your best work. What time of day is that? Are you the most focused in the morning? Maybe it's late at night. Do your hardest and most important tasks at the top, like eat the frog, do the hard thing first. And then when the day is done, it's like, okay, at least I did the hardest thing that's moving the needle forward a little bit. Because we can all post an Instagram reel or update our blog at midnight, but we can't all write our next amazing SEO optimized blog at 1 a.m. So do the hardest thing first, and then either outsource or delete the tasks that aren't pushing you towards your goal then.
I love the parking lot analogy. I actually have an Asana. That's the tool I use. It's like called Maybe One Day. And because I feel like when you have this shiny object in your vision, you feel like I have to do this now, or at least like I don't want to forget it. So I just throw it there. Most of those ideas, when I come back to them in a few days, I'm like, this is like not that good of an idea. I'm glad I didn't like stop everything to do it. But it's just sitting there because maybe one day I'll want to flesh one of them out. Maybe some of those ideas are good. I just want to make sure I don't lose them. I don't forget them.
I agree. I'm an Asana user too. I get it. I do. I have an Asana board that's like, think about, it's like, do I go back and look at those ideas? Not really, because they're not like the main focus, you know? Like it's really hard too, because the other analogy I tell creators all the time is like, okay, the thing that you have to sell and what you have created are like, okay, A is what you have created and B is who you sell it to. That is easy. It is not simple. And it's not simple because in between A and B are all of the courses, the PDFs, the Instagram reels, the whatever, the advice that you see. That is all those shiny objects. And it's like, do this fast, do this thing to get here fast or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Some people have built businesses overnight, even though I kind of think that's a little bit fake. But it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And you just have to remember, like, the thing that I'm selling, there are people there who are going to read my blog and see it. And I can't get lost in the sauce of the advice. It's really easy to do that. So the parking lot, the Asana, highly recommend.
All right, taking a quick break from the episode to tell you how you can get paid opportunities sent straight to your inbox. Every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, I send out my VIP Opportunities for Travel Creators newsletter. Each edition is hand-curated to include 5 high-value leads, from brand to UGC partnerships to press trips to paid writing assignments and beyond. For example, a recent issue featured a wildlife-focused press trip to Sweden, a call for pitches from a top travel magazine, and a high-paying affiliate program that was also looking to sponsor some Instagram reels. Now, I want you to see the value for yourself,
so I'm offering one issue of your choice for free. You can join today and get 5 free leads
by clicking the link in the video description or scanning the QR code on your screen. Think of this as a weekly shortcut that helps you stay consistent with your pitches and monetization without the hours of manual research. All right, now back to the video. Now, going back to, again, you see so many different back ends of these different creators. We're talking about monetization and thinking about profits. Are there certain revenue streams that you've seen tend to work well for travel creators, especially in terms of systemizing?
Digital products are really simple to systemize because anything that you can spend hours on creating in the beginning, and then you've set up all the systems in the back end, like the funnel, you've set up the follow-up emails, you've set all the stuff. Now you just have to talk about it. You have to talk about it all the time. Like that's it. Again, simple. It's not always easy. So digital products, great. Courses, great too. I will say, I think communities can be, you can tell me if I'm really wrong, can be easy to systemize. Like, okay, it's great. I can, again, set up the flow, make the content for it, whatever. But they require so much more work. Like you can't just set it and forget it like you could a digital product or like a course or something. So I think it has the potential to I have people like join my community when I'm not necessarily exactly working on it, which is great. And I'm sure you do too. So it's like, yeah, I can. We put in all this time and effort and hours, and people join when we're not there. But it's just like a different kind of work. So if you were the kind of creator who wants to like drink margaritas on the beach on a random Tuesday at 1 p.m., I would not go the community route. I would go the product route. Digital products, courses, they always, a tale as old as time. They will always work because people want to know from you. I wish I could say group trips. I know some people who crush it on the group trip front in terms of making money. However, that requires so much time from you. So if you're a creator listening who is like, I've been thinking about a group trip, I'm like, okay, let's think about your goals. Is your goal a lot of revenue? Okay, great. But also, how much time are you willing to invest in that right now? Like, would it be a better use of your time to make a course, make something else that you can then have some of that money coming in while you work on your group trip? Like we're not getting rich quickly by hosting group trips, I don't think.
I'm actually creating a income diversification boot camp right now. So this morning I was actually saying something very similar to what you were saying of like, I've run my membership now for years. I love it. It's been such a blessing for the recurring revenue. And I also just love the community aspect. But that is something every month that I'm creating new content for. However, you can help yourself by A, working in batches, and B, hiring other people. So if I want to go on a big trip, like I do 2-week trips sometimes, I'll hire another creator who I know can handle it to kind of lead the calls that week and things like that. So you can save time that way. But to your point, it's certainly different than I have some master classes that don't really, I'll update them when they need to be updated. But even then, it's like I'm not having to go in and lead calls all the time and stuff. Or like I sell pre-made itineraries. Yes, I'm going to have to update them. Like I have a New York City Christmas itinerary. Come October is kind of when people start asking me Christmas stuff for my New York City products. I'm going to make sure that by that time that itinerary is updated for the new year. But realistically, it's going to be pretty much the same. It's just maybe going to be like, okay, this restaurant's hours changed or something like that. So yeah, like the membership, anything I think recurring, it's like the recurring revenue is amazing, but usually those things do require extra work on your part unless you can really hire out either for the whole thing or at least for parts of it.
Yeah, communities definitely have like some sort of shiny objects. It's like fun to do the math. Like, oh, if I get XYZ people, I get this much money. But it's like, okay, yeah, but I'm hosting all these events. I'm in here answering, it's just that trade-off. And so if you have the capacity to bring on a team member, if you're thinking about starting a community, then I would do it. If you're already at like a comfortable income baseline, I would say too, because it's definitely not like why chase the, I don't know, $70 a month spot or something from a creator when you could go and chase the 700 retainer or whatever.
Along with implementing revenue streams, another important part of running a travel blog as a business is building an email list. I know you're big on the email. I'm big on the email. It's an asset you own, and it isn't algorithm dependent like everything else. Basically, your social channels and your blog posts and all that stuff. So as someone who recommends lead magnets, sometimes known as opt-in freebies, why do you think these are so powerful for list growth, and how can creators choose a high converting format and topic?
Yes, this is my favorite topic on the internet to yap about. So I'm so excited. Okay, so lead magnets are powerful because it gives someone a reason to trust you and buy from you. It gets people into your world. They see your emails. They continue to know what you're about, what you're talking about, and then they consider investing more money with you. People now need 27 touch points in order to consider buying from you. I just learned this on Monday, so it went up, I think like 10x. Honestly, I think it was maybe like 11 before or something. 27 touch points. So the quicker you can get people into your email list, the quicker the trust is going to go up. Also, people are nosy. Let us not forget. We can't ignore. People want to know what's going on with you. And email is a great way to get them in there. So let us talk about how the heck you're going to choose a high converting lead magnet format. The easiest thing to do is think about your DMs you're getting. What are people asking you in real life? What are people asking you on the internet? What do your comments and emails look like? Those are the new topics for your lead magnet. I don't want you to go out and make something that you think should exist because you think it's a good idea. I'm sure you have great ideas, but we need to validate them first. So we need to do the market research. And again, that's the power of asking. I think people forget that we can just ask people what they want to see. And when you think about your creator community, I'm sure there's a couple of people that immediately come to mind. Maybe it's the people you're always DMing, the people always commenting who are engaging with your stuff or sending you replies from your blog or commenting on your blog. Those are the people in your community who you can ask them for that advice to be like, hey, thinking about creating this resource, does this sound like something you want? So don't sleep on the people in your community who are going to actually help you grow a bigger one. But what they're asking you or what they're, keep bothering you about, or again, go look at your top performing blog content. Why is it top performing? Well, probably it's high SEO. People are searching the heck out of that. And why are they searching it? Okay, great. Let's make another, a deeper piece about this to get people onto your email list. So that's how you're going to go about choosing what should I talk about. And then I think in terms of format, if you're a blogger, you're a writer, it should probably be some words. But let's say you also have a podcast. Maybe you do like a private podcast episode too. Choose something that is fun for you, because if it's fun for you, you're going to be consistent at it.
Yeah, I've noticed two things in travel creator community. Like either a lot of people want to do an ebook as a freebie, and I'm always like, ooh, the chances of someone reading an ebook is slim. Like
Totally.
think more like quick win. I mean, if you have an educational product, I have noticed for my membership, my free webinar that I have Evergreen converts well. But even that, it is a bigger thing, but it's still a set time. Like an ebook is like, okay, when am I going to have time to read this? Like the webinar, they could be on the train. They could have it like just listening to audio. The other thing I noticed though, is people tend to just want to do a packing list, which I think can be fine if you have maybe like, if your blog is really about packing or you have like a packing product of some kind. But I always think it's like, think about those revenue streams too. If you're selling a solo travel safety workshop or toolkit, then your freebie, your lead magnet, should really be attracting the people that would want to learn more about how to stay safe while solo traveling.
You brought up a really good point. We don't want to send somebody a 60-page PDF. People will freak out and they won't do anything about it. So it needs to be actionable. People are tired of downloading the $7, $9, $20 thing for just more information. They need action. And when they feel like they've taken action, they are like, oh, great, I took action with Jessie. She made me realize I can do this thing successfully. Let's see what else she has to offer. Like if this is her free offer and it's giving me this much action, amazing. I want to buy from you.
Yeah, even super simple things. Like there's a travel Reels creator. Her name's Rami. She's amazing. And she's been on this podcast as well talking about Reels. But she just took like her best hooks. And I think she does, it's like for 3 Reels a week. And she just made a calendar. It's like, here's the hook. Now create your own spin on it. It was under $20. And I'm like, that is so simple, but that's going to save me so much time. Or like, I also bought a travel spreadsheet. Someone just made a spreadsheet really helpful, and they customized it and all that. And I'm like, that's super helpful. That's going to give me a quick win. Like, could I sit down for hours and create something similar? Maybe, but I don't want to. I want to save time.
Totally.
That's going to help me right away. Now we're talking about list building. So of course it's great to build the list, but what really matters is what creators actually do with that list. So how can creators get started sending newsletters in a way that is sustainable, but also truly builds their business?
Yay. Okay, my second favorite topic on the internet. I need us to reframe newsletter to a message to a friend. Okay, I don't have a better word for newsletter. It's just like networking. They're both amazing things, but I hate that they're called that because it feels so corporate-y and old. And I don't know, maybe 2026 is the year we have a better name for that. But I need you to think about, what would I want to tell my friend about what's going on in my life/business if I only talk to them once a week or twice a month? What do they need to know? The easiest way and most consistent you're going to do this is you're going to think about, what could I yap about all the time, always? And I want you to put that into 5 different sections. So maybe it's like a travel resource you love, Maybe one of your pillars that you're always blogging on is packing. It's like, okay, great. My other section topic is packing tips. Another one is going to be like, maybe you listen to a lot of podcasts. Maybe it's always a new podcast that you love listening to. I want you to open a Google Doc, title 5 different sections, those, packing list tips, favorite podcast, whatever, and just dump in all of the things. Okay. Something you could yap about forever. I don't need you to include every single one of those 3 to 5 sections when you send a newsletter, but I just want you to have a base so that, when you start writing your newsletter again, you're not like, oh my gosh, I have nothing. The other thing is your newsletter should be 80% of content you've already created and 20% new things. So like for some creators, I've made actually like a 52-week calendar of newsletters. And I've been able to do that because we made the Google Doc of all of the 52 packing tips, whatever. And then that 20%, we just add in every week. And it's an update about where she is specifically, what she's doing that is like unique to that week or that month. So it is an amazing tool you can batch, but that's super overwhelming if you've never sent a newsletter or you have been ghosting yours for a long time. So if that is you, just pick 3 paragraphs you can talk about forever. And then I want you to make a template of it. Okay, so we're not, constantly doing the same thing with content and blogs. We're not just like starting from scratch every time. And I also don't want you to commit to sending it every single week. You're going to burn out, especially if you haven't done it in a long time. I want you to send it twice a month, whatever that means to you. First Monday of the month, last Monday of the month, I don't care. Just get in the habit of doing it, and then you can do it more consistently later on. It's also a fantastic thing to outsource, especially if you've written all this content. Just get somebody to put it in and deal with the sending. Like if it's the sending and the system stuff that scares you, get somebody else to do it. And then yap about the 5 other things all the time. So that's the easiest thing. Find things you could talk about forever, put it into a template, schedule it to send not as frequently as you want until you build that muscle to do it more consistently.
So it sounds like you do sort of a content bank for your newsletters, basically. So you always have the tips to pull from, and like maybe you can organize them in different ways at different times type of thing.
Yes, totally. And I think one section should always be shouting out a piece of content that you've created recently that you want more people to see. So maybe if you send your newsletter once a month, it's like, here are my top 3 blogs from this month, or here's like a new whatever I just posted, just so people are seeing more recent stuff too. But yes, absolutely. This is something that you can batch the heck out of and literally update 5 sentences once a week forever. Like that 52-week newsletter I've sent, we're on year 2 of sending the same content. At the beginning of the year, I was like, do you want me to update this? Would you want to update this? And she was like, no. And I'm like, so true, because people won't notice. They just won't. And if they do, amazing super fans. We haven't gotten any emails back that I know of. People have noticed, but yeah, it's something that can live on forever.
Is it like the email you sent on April 1st last year, you're sending that on April 1st this year, or like, whatever the date is nearby?
Right. Yeah. Especially, of course we are working in an industry that it can be like time sensitive, meaning like it's going to be best to visit Switzerland in probably the summer if you want to go hiking. So it's like, okay, let's kind of line up. Maybe we want to share about that Switzerland destination in week 25 of the year. So it's like mid-year. So I just number them by weeks so that I know when to send each one. And then we just put in that little update, and it sounds pretty simple. To be honest, it can be. It's a lot of upfront work for sure, but same thing with like anything someone is creating or selling, a lot of upfront work, and then you're just managing it along the way.
Love the time saving. Do you weave in, because we were talking about products and affiliates a bit. Do you have a way that you weave either of those in to your newsletters? And if you are, is it every single week that you're doing an affiliate or a product promotion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for some creators, if they're, let's say they posted a blog this week that was sponsored by someone, or they, a brand reach out to them and they're like, we want you to write this blog and post this reel about our travel laundry bag, for example, then I'm like, okay, great. Tell them to pay you more money and we'll put it in the newsletter, So that's an easy way to do that, especially because brands know, and creators don't know this, well, I don't want to say all creators, most don't. Brands do that. Email has a 36% higher ROI than social media. So you should be able to negotiate for higher rates for your newsletter than just posting a photo or doing a whatever in your blog, because they know it converts better. So I want you to be armed with that knowledge too when you go into these negotiations, if people want to sponsor your post or even a part of your newsletter. There are some newsletters we write that don't have any sort of sale in them at all. I don't think every single email does. Some people will probably disagree, but the point of newsletters is to build trust and to get people to feel like they know you further and they're going to buy from you, and you don't have to put something in there every time. I think it's valuable to put like a PS. I love doing PS. I do that all the time. Like, PS, did you know the doors to my travel creator blog community are open, by the way, whatever. So things like that. And then of course I have written for creators like separate emails that are more like salesy, but in the weekly sort of email, we don't do that too much unless it's already like a sponsored thing or they have like a new offer or something.
This sales email is like a launch. You might do like a once a month, like a 3 emails or 5 emails in a row type of launch sequence.
Right. Yep. Separate. Like, I'm treating your newsletter as like, this is our hangout, as if you were FaceTiming me, text message, these are my updates. Amazing. You're going to get that consistently. And then, okay, also the creator's selling something else. Maybe I'll put in the newsletter, like I said, like that affiliate link or that whatever that they also have a brand deal about. Then if they are launching a different course, it's like, great, let's do additional emails that are about that. But I want people to feel safe in the consistency of knowing they're going to get valuable content from you that isn't always something to buy.
You mentioned the PS. One thing I just have this in my footer, not really the footer, but like right above the footer under my name. I'll just have my like traveling soon. Here's my favorite. And it's not a part of the email has its own content, but it's just a little PS with some affiliate links of like the brands I really use. Like if I'm abroad, I'm using the Saley eSIM. And then I ask those brands for discount codes to make it a little more. But I've checked and it's so interesting. Every single newsletter, I have multiple people click every single affiliate link in that. Because I wasn't checking for a while. I'm like, I wonder if people even click on this. And I was like, wow, I guess they do. Now, many creators just kind of like react to incoming emails. So how does having a CRM or customer relation management allow a creator to better predict their income? And how should they set this up? Because I feel like a lot of creators maybe have heard the term CRM, but I think okay, what is that? And then like, how do I actually do it piece is hard to kind of put together.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those like customer relationship management. Ew, like, can we have a better name for it? I wish I had one. I like to call mine my home base because I hate that. I'm like, I get this corporate talk out of here. But most creators, they pitch brands. They might have no idea who they've pitched because we're doing like high quantity, or they don't know who's ghosted them, or they don't know who's a warm lead. It's all in their head. And so a CRM, a home base, a way to track all this gives you a pipeline so you can see what deals are coming in, what is stalled, what's about to close. And I personally use Airtable, and actually they have amazing templates. I'm so anti another login. So if you are a Google Sheets person or a whatever person, use what you feel comfortable in. If you want to be a little more techie, I would recommend Airtable. It's awesome. But I would start with a simple spreadsheet with columns, a name for the brand you're working with, a status. Okay, like when did you email them? What's the status? Are we working together? Are we pending? Do I need to follow up? Whatever. Dates, follow-up dates, and then a deal value. What's cool about my Airtable base is that it does all the math for me, so I can see at a glance, like, okay, here is the predictable income for the month, here it is for the quarter, here it is for the year, so that you're not flying blind. So because we need to know what's happening, and this is going to be the easiest way to track it and make sure you can make the most money, especially if you have had a good relationship with a brand and you want to work with them again. It's like, great, I worked with Yeti in October. I'm going to reach back out to them. And I only know that I worked with them in October because I have it tracked. So whatever makes sense for your brain, I would do that. And it doesn't, like, I think people think the CRM has to be something big and fancy. It doesn't. Just a spreadsheet of who you've worked with, who you've reached out to, when you need to follow up. That's kind of all you need. And then separately, a way to be paid. Okay, like a Stripe, easy. I mean, there's so many different tools. You probably likely already have some set up, but use what you're already are paying for. If you're paying for something, use it. Don't create another thing just because someone on the internet has like a beautiful thing. But use what you have and just start your spreadsheet to keep track of where your potential money is coming from, because like the likelihood of somebody who's purchased from you before, worked with you before, is 5 to 12 times. They're 5 to 12 times more likely to work or buy from you again. So we need a way to track who you've followed up with or reached out to so that you can get paid more. That's really it. Just like you can call like your fun money sheet or something, like who's paying me this month. I don't know. Like it can be fun.
You were mentioning home base. I haven't used Airtable. I mean, I've used it, other people use it, and I've spoken at their summit, so I'm familiar with it a little bit. But, whether you use Airtable or Sheets, do you do one of these for like all of your projects, basically? Like you were just talking about working with brands, but I wonder, do you have this sort of organized setup for your newsletters and maybe the sales funnels you have set up and all these other pieces of the business?
Yeah. So what's cool about Airtable is you can have something called a base, and I have in it a contacts row. So I've set up like when someone fills out a lead form, they automatically get dumped in this thing. And this is where like it can get overwhelming for people. So I would just stick with what's easy first, but I love this stuff. So like it makes fun. This is fun for me, if you can believe it. But when people fill out a form, their information gets dumped in this base. Then it's like, okay, great. So-and-so reached out. They actually want to have a conversation with me. I have like a separate tab that lives all within the same ecosystem base to see, I call it like my deals sheet, to see like, okay, this brand reached out. They want to do UGC. Here's like the potential value of that. Here's the data I followed up. Where is the email living? I actually put a link into the actual email in there. So for all of those things, they all like live under one roof and are connected. For email subscribers, I use Kit. I love Kit. I think it's so much more than just an email sending software. It's amazing. And so if you are anti-CRM, I know many successful creators who don't have CRMs. And I always say to them, I literally do not understand how you've gotten this far without one, but they just filter people through their Kit, like through their emails. And I'm like, okay, so just something for you to think about. If Kit is working for you or your email sending software, like, okay, you could kind of filter people through that. But if you want to do outreach to brands or like do paid sponsorships, you need a way to manage these people. So long story short, I use Kit just for subscribers, but I get their email through an Airtable form. Then I use Zapier to get them to Kit. It's a whole thing. It's like all they're really doing is getting on my email list, and it requires like 3 things.
That's so interesting. When you say filter, do you mean like tagging them? Or if you're doing it more manually, let's say with Sheets, it would be more, okay, this brand reached out to me. I'm going to pop their name, email, and company, the main things you need to know into your brand outreach spreadsheet.
Yes, exactly. It is manual. So I literally have the brand's name, the contact name. What are they reaching out for? They're reaching out for one of my services. I also do UGC, so they want UGC. The potential value of that deal, the date of our last communication, the date I need to follow up with them if I need to. And then like, where is that email communication living? Because I have like my Gmail sort of organized as well, of like awaiting response, follow up, whatever. So I kind of filter them in folders. Again, this is like over the top. But yeah, so I am manually adding in those brand deals, but for subscribers, that I've set up to happen automatically, so that just because it happens at a much higher volume than it would like a brand deal. I'm not working with as many brands as I would have subscribers.
Yeah, and I imagine you save so much time removing. I mean, obviously the manual way to do things is free, and it might be easy because you're already using Sheets, but you're going to save a ton of time if you're not having to copy and paste all this information. But that's just such a good point of, regardless of what system you are using, create a system for all of your main projects. Your affiliate marketing, you're working with brands. I know I have, these are the ones I have. I do still use manual spreadsheets, and now I wrote down Airtable. Like maybe I need to have you help me set that up. But I am doing it the manual way. I have like my podcast outreach. I have a whole outreach spreadsheet with different tabs of like podcast, guest workshops for Travel Blog Prosperity, blogging affiliates, New York City tour affiliates, and it's just different tabs in that of the outreach home. But then I have my newsletter home. But even with the manual, it still is so helpful to just have everything in one place. And we talked about some tools. I'm curious because of course many creators are unlimited budgets. You talked about using Google Sheets. Are there times when you think splurging on a pricier tool is worth it?
So I love this because I think I am going to have an unconventional answer. I think if you can, what you should splurge on are humans, are people. There are people who can do what you can't faster and better than you. And it might be hard to hear, but it's true. And it's how successful businesses run. No successful business is just like one little person doing its thing. Okay. They have a team of people helping them, whether they disclose that or not. And so, yeah, absolutely, there's going to be tools that are like software and not actually humans to help you. But I wouldn't, like, if you're touching something 5 times a month over and over and over, again, this is where it's going to be so helpful just to step back and be a 30,000 foot view of like, what the heck am I even doing every day? What is going on? If you're touching something multiple times, that's a sign that we need to figure out a tool that can help you. There are free ways to do this. And I would only, again, invest in something that is going to help you get towards your goals. Don't all of a sudden be like, I'm going to be a UGC creator and I'm going to pay for this pitching service. It's like, that's not your goal. Remember, your goal is to make $10,000 this year as a blogger. Like, okay, so let's do the thing that's going to help you get there. I am anti another login. So use what you already have. If you are paying for something like, maybe I'm not, you should do as I say and not as I do, but I pay for Airtable, but I use them in slightly different ways. Could I be doing the same thing? Like I pay for my Google Workspace and I have Airtable. That's a better example. Can they theoretically do the same thing? Yeah, they could, but I have my intake forms on Airtable. So it's like, if you're paying for something, try and get the most out of it. I would also respect your brain. Okay, so if you are a basic person, if Google Sheets makes sense to you, don't try and become a Notion girly. Don't do it. It will help you stay consistent. It will cut down your costs to respect how you work. But the first thing I would do or consider paying for is a VA. Find the help, even if it's like 5 hours a month, doing the things you don't like to do but have to be done, and do it before you're ready. People say it all the time, hire before you're ready. And it's like, I don't really know what that means. But if you feel like you're drowning in work and everything feels important, first of all, figure out what's actually important and then realize, can I find someone to help me do this faster and better? And it kind of comes down to how much does this cost versus how much is my time worth, and does this replace my time?
This is resonating with me right now because I'm in this season of life where I'm feeling very overwhelmed and like I actually am I have a VA, but I'm thinking of like the next hire I want to make and how to systemize things that it makes sense. Like one thing I would love, this is one system I've never figured out. I would love to hire someone to help me turn all of my clips into reels. But then I'm scripting it. Then I have to label everything. Do I sit down and make a big video bank? That probably is the first step.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, some of it's just like trial and error. Like, can you do this with what you already have, or does your time allow you to do it? And if no, then get rid of it or find someone or something to do it for you.
Now, before we close, I would love to discuss auditing. So when the creator who's now thinking like a CEO audits their business, what are 3 to 5 key performance indicators? Another fun CEO term, KPIs. But what are 3 to 5 key KPIs that they should actually be looking at, and how often should they be doing an audit?
Yes. Okay. I wish I had a better fun, like some whimsical benchmarks, okay, if you will, for these. I think the first and potentially the most important is to look at your monthly revenue versus like one-off income. Okay. Maybe you're getting these random brand deals. Maybe one month you had like a lot of affiliate money coming in, but where is your recurring money coming from? Let's find out and let's capitalize on the recurring. That's just good stuff to know. I would also look at your email list growth rate, because these are your subscribers who are going to pay you money. Okay, this is how you're going to make money. And so we need to pay attention to this more so than like followers or like likes or whatever. So where are your subscribers coming from? How can you get more people down your subscriber pipeline. I want creators to understand their newsletter subscribers are more valuable than other people that come their way. And so where can we get more of them? Are there collaborations we need to do with other creators to do newsletter swaps, get podcast swaps, whatever, to get more of the right people on your side of the internet? I would also look at your time to delivery on client work. So if, let's say, you owe someone a blog or you owe sponsored blogs or whatever, I want you to see what's taking me the longest. Maybe I said yes to this gig because I didn't think it was going to take me that long, and now I'm sat here for 5 hours and I wish I wasn't. Where are you working on things that aren't taking me a long time, bring me joy, and are making me the most money, and vice versa? That's the most important thing to know. And that's how then you can scale. It's like, okay, great. I hate doing this thing, but it makes me a lot of money. It's like, okay, can we change it so you like it? Can we delete it, or can we delegate it? So you're still making money, but now you don't have to touch as much of it. So that is another important thing I would recommend looking at once a month. And then like on Fridays, it's funny because I sometimes hate doing my own like back end stuff, but I try and make it like a fun event. I'm like, Fridays, okay, go spend your $10 on your latte, do it. Because if it means you're going to get your thing done, amazing. Buy another latte, like do whatever you need to do to get the thing done. So look at your like, how are things going this month? Like we're approaching the end of a month or the beginning of a new one. Like, are there any emails we need to wrap up? This is again where you turn to your CRM to see what's going on, but just setting the time on your calendar to look at these KPIs, and also how is the week or month shaping up, because I'm sure you might have forgotten to follow up with someone or send that email or whatever. So just setting the time to do the actual work instead of thinking about it is where the magic happens.
Love, love, love that you brought up collaborations, because I say this all the time. It's such a missed opportunity. And especially if you want to get in front of an audience quickly, collaborate with other people. Or, if you're a newbie, you might not be able to collaborate with the bigger bloggers that you want to. Look for people that are about your level. It's still going to be helpful. You could still reach out to that bigger blogger and get on their radar, and maybe they'll say, let's talk again. I had this recently. Someone reached out and it was like, I love what they're doing, but it wasn't just the right fit audience wise. I said, let's chat in a year, or in a few months. Or maybe I send one email for them, they do 3 for me. Well, you work it out. Or something else I've also done. I know like meta ads can be great, but I've also had a lot of success with sponsoring the newsletters of other creators. And I'd also just prefer my money to go that way. I have run Facebook ads. I haven't in a while, but I know that can work great too. But think about like Facebook groups where your audience hangs out, people with newsletters. Those can be great spots too.
I know in the travel space, there's so many creators, okay? But the top percentage of creators, they all know each other and they all communicate. And so if you can do well, you just never know who somebody knows, and you might just meet your next business BFF doing a collaboration.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your tips. This has been so, so helpful. Before we sign off, can you just let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, if you're not tired of hearing me yap, you can hear me yap on my own podcast called the Travel Creator Podcast. It is where I do no BS marketing tips for travel creators. And then over here, you'll hear about my business building community for travel creators. So you can shoot me a message on Instagram at Travel Content Writing, and we can yap about newsletters, yap about how to make your blog into your newsletter without making you scream. It's okay, but I would love to see you over there. So,
all right. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to systemize your travel blogging business for more sustainable income. Don't forget to grab access to the free Travel Blogger resource library linked in the video description or via the QR code on your screen. There are a ton of resources in there on growing your community and increasing your blogging profits, including a systemized your travel blog cheat sheet based on today's video. And of course, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos sharing these strategies for bloggers who want to turn their blogs into profitable full-time businesses. Happy blogging!